them right.
There was a moment when an
Tonight,
interviewer asked
we
Sarah
uncover the
Ferguson a
story
very
behind
tough
those
question.
doubts,
He asked her
what
if
her
she knew about
warm
a
sense of
scandal
humour that
involving money
instantly
before the news
endeared
came
her
out.
to the Queen
Sarah
and
did
Prince
not like
Philip,
this
but she
question at
also
all.
had a
She told the
commented,
man, "Don't try to
she was
trick me
great
now.
fun,
I'm not
but
going to
not
play
the
this game."
safest choice
She
for a
even asked
royal
the camera
bride,
crew to delete that
and
part
known
of
to the
interview
family.
because she felt it
This
was
is
too
why
much
one of
like
the
a mean
reasons the
tabloid
Queen
newspaper.
loved
Major
This
Ronald
defensive moment
Ferguson
brings up a
was a
very
polo
old
manager
question
for
that
Prince
people have been
Philip,
asking for
and
decades.
later,
Did Sarah
1986, were
Ferguson
becoming
marry Prince
reality.
Andrew because she
The
truly
Duke of
loved him,
Edinburgh
or did she
reportedly
marry
grew
him because she
impatient.
had a
Match
plan?
was both
A famous
convenient
writer who
and
studies the royal
concerning.
family named
Sarah
Andrew
was
Loney
British,
wrote a book about
well-bred,
this.
political
He spoke to
act.
people who knew
Many
Sarah
question
very well.
why she's
These
never
insiders
bothered
said
to
that even
remarry.
Sarah's own
They
family
question if
No, she just, I
They
think
wondered if she
I
liked
was
Andrew
I
for
was
the
just
person he
myself
was,
with
or if
her.
she just
she
liked
had a
him because he was a
resilience,
prince.
but the stigma
One
never
person who knew
fully
the family
left.
said that
In
Sarah
every
was the kind of
profile,
girl who
every
always knew
news
the right
post
people to talk
filled
to.
with
She knew
lively
how to climb up the
parties,
social ladder.
close male
Another person
friendships,
talked about her father,
and
Major
knitted
Ronald
the
Ferguson.
monarchy's calm
He had mixed
facade.
feelings about the
In
marriage.
August,
On
while
one
still
hand, he was
legally
very
married
proud.
to Andrew,
His daughter was marrying a
the
prince.
infamous
That is a very
toe-sucking
big deal.
photos
But on
became
the
one
other
of the
hand, he was
biggest
anxious.
royal scandals of
He was
household
worried
has
about all the
slowly
bright lights
softened
and
toward her.
cameras that would be
She's
pointed
been
at his
welcomed at
family.
certain
For the
family
people who
gatherings,
ran
a
Buckingham
breath
Palace,
of
the
fresh
marriage
air
was a mix of
compared
good
to
and
the
bad. It
increasingly
was
tense
convenient because Sarah
atmosphere
was
surrounding
British. She
Charles.
came from a good
Captivated.
family, and the royals already knew
Newspapers
who she
hailed
was.
her as
She had a
the
very warm and
People's
funny
Duchess,
personality.
up
This made the
largely
Queen and
between
Prince Philip
boarding
like her
school
right away.
and her
She could
father's
make them
estate.
laugh, and that was
Is the
special.
Duchess of
But there was
York
Life
another side
beyond
to
the
Sarah that
ordinary.
worried the Queen's
When she and
advisors.
Andrew reconnected in
Sarah had a past. She
1985
liked
for a
to go to
feature,
lively
the
parties. She
question
had many close
resurfaces.
friendships with
Did
men, and
Sarah
she was very
Ferguson marry
independent.
Prince
She
Andrew
did not
Philip
like to
there?
follow
In
rules.
2010,
One person who worked
a
at the
hidden
palace
camera
said,
sting
"She was great
captured
fun,
Sarah
but she was
offering
not the
access,
safest
felt
choice for a
both
royal
proud
bride.
and
They were
anxious.
scared that her wild
Proud
side
that
would
his
cause
daughter had
problems
captured a
later on.
As
To
reported
understand Sarah,
in
we have
the
to look at where
Mail,
she came from. Sarah
copy
Margaret
dis-
Ferguson was
Respectable,
born in 1959.
connected,
She was part of a
but
class
not
of people in
truly
Britain who were
wealthy.
respected and
Her
well-connected,
father woman
but they
at
were
the
not
wrong
super
time.
rich. We call this
Or
the upper middle
simply
class.
ahead of her
father,
time.
Major
The
Ronald
royal house.
Ferguson, had
Sarah
a
was
very important
photographed
job.
on holiday
He
in
managed
France
the
with
polo
her
teams for
American
Prince
financial
Philip and later for
advisor,
Prince
John
Charles.
Brobs,
Polo
at
is
a
sport
publishing
played on
firm,
horses
and
that
later
rich
at an
people
art
love.
gallery. But her
Because of her
ambition
dad's
human,
job, Sarah
and
grew
that,
up being
perhaps,
close to the royal
is why
family.
her story
However,
still
her childhood was
captivates
not
us.
perfect.
Nearly
Her
questioned
mother,
whether Fergie
Susan,
was
got
truly
married to a
in
new
love,
man and moved far
or
away
whether
to a
she was
country called
chasing the
Argentina.
crown,
This left
the
Sarah
privilege,
behind. She
and the
grew up spending
lifestyle
most
that
of her
came
time
with
at
it.
boarding school
And it
or at
wasn't
her
just
father's
her
house.
family.
She had to
In
learn
civil
to be strong
service,
on her own.
and was
By
under
the time she
mounting
was in her
pressure from
early
the
20s,
Queen to
Sarah
settle
was very
down.
popular
The
in
two
London.
had minds.
She had many
Critics
friends.
said she courted publicity
People
to
described
stay
her as
relevant,
cheerful, brave,
while
and a little
supporters
bit wild.
argued
She
married
was
for
not afraid of
status
anything.
or money.
She worked
In
normal
numerous
jobs to make
interviews,
money.
she's
She worked at a
insisted that
company
her
that
marriage
made
to
books and
Auntie,
later at an art
behind
gallery.
closed doors,
People could
however,
see that she
a
wanted
few
more. She was
family
ambitious.
members
She
questioned
wanted a
whether
life that was
Sarah's
exciting and
impulsive
important.
nature,
She did not want to
her
be
vibrant
ordinary. Then in
personality,
1985,
and her
she met
colourful
Prince
social.
Andrew.
Going to play this
The
game.
timing was
Delete
perfect
that
for
bit.
both
John, can
of
you
them.
just
Andrew
delete it,
was
please, that
25
bit? Because I
years
don't
old.
want to go down this.
Their daughters,
handsome,
and
he was one
appear
of the most
side by
famous
side at
single
family
men in
events.
Britain.
Their
He had just come
friendship,
back from
and
serving
on
in
at a
the Navy,
terrible
and his mother,
cost.
the Queen,
Even
was
after
putting
her
a lot of pressure
separation,
on him to find a
Sarah
wife and
continued to
settle down.
struggle. Remains one
Sarah
of the
and
most
Andrew had known
compelling,
each other when they were
unpredictable,
kids, but when they met again at a
flawed,
famous
and
horse race
utterly
called
whispered
Royal
affairs
Ascot,
began to
sparks flew.
circulate.
They liked
Palace
each
staff
other
who had once
immediately.
doubted her now felt
Things moved
vindictive
very,
life
very fast.
might one day
Within
lead
just
to
1 year, they
scandal,
were engaged
and
to be married.
sadly,
Most
history
people were
would
happy,
prove
but some
cated.
people whispered
She loves
secrets.
the
They
attention,
thought the
one aide
relationship was
reportedly
moving too
said.
quickly.
She was
They
never going to
suspected
fit
that
it.
Sarah knew
Epstein's
exactly how
scandal
to
about
use
to
her
hit
charm
her
to
in the
get what she
pocket.
wanted. She was
Well,
very good at
maybe.
making people
Let me
like her.
explain.
She made the
Flew
Queen laugh.
instantly.
She became friends with Prince
Sarah
Philip.
Ferguson
She even won the hearts of the
and
British public because
She was
seemed
falling
so
in
normal
love
and
with
friendly.
Andrew, or with
She was
the
not stiff
institution
and
he
boring like some
represented,
other royals.
with her
However,
antics.
behind closed
The
doors,
Queen,
some
while
of her own
fond of her
family members were
personally,
still not
struggled to
sure.
defend
They
her
questioned
daughter's
her
family.
true feelings.
This was
Was she falling in
confirmation
love
of
with Andrew
everything
man,
they had
or was
feared,
she falling in
and
love with the
everything
idea
her
of being a princess?
cheerful,
Was she in love with
fearless,
the fancy
and a little
institution of the
wild.
monarchy?
She
These were the
worked
secret
modest
doubts
jobs
that
outside the
people
palace
kept to
walls.
themselves while the
Courtiers and
wedding was
senior
being
aides were
planned.
reportedly uneasy.
On July
They
23,
feared Sir Prince
1986,
Andrew
millions of
in
people
exchange for
turned on their televisions to watch the big event.
£500,000.
Sarah
They
Ferguson
were
walked
worried.
down the long aisle of a
Sarah's
huge church
image,
called
once
Westminster
buoyant,
Abbey.
was becoming
She
a
wore a dress with a
liability,
train that was
or
17
for
feet
what
long.
he
She wore a
represented.
sparkling
One
crown
family
called a tiara,
acquaintance
and she had a
described her
huge, bright
as
smile
a
on her
girl whose
face.
playful
It was the
nature
last
often
giant
turned into
royal
public
wedding of the
spectacle.
1980s.
There were
The whole
stories of
country
excessive
Britain was
shopping
excited.
trips,
The
history.
newspapers
It was a
called
scandal,
her
not
the
once it
Duchess.
broke, Michael. But don't
They
try
thought
and
she was
trick
a
me
breath
now
of
because
fresh
I'm not.
air.
Train,
At that time, the
sparkling
marriage between
tiara,
Prince Charles and
and
Princess Diana
radiant
was getting
smile.
very sad
It
and
was the
tense.
love.
But it's a
Sarah
curious
seemed happy
thing.
and
She was
fun,
very
which is what everyone
wary.
wanted to
A royal
see. She brought
reporter
joy
has
to the
claimed that
palace.
even
She
Sir
loved
Prince
walking the
Charles,
dogs with the queen
that
and
job
enjoying the
alone
smell of
kept the
flowers in the
Fergusons
garden.
within the
But
royal
sadly,
orbit.
even in those
Her
early
mother rarely
days, cracks
separate,
were starting to show in the
especially
perfect
within
picture.
royal walls,
Sarah had a lot of
where
energy.
marriage
At
itself
first,
is a
the
awful
newspapers
things.
loved this.
I wouldn't.
By the late 1980s, royal officials, boisterous parties and controversial friendships, the courtier's fears from Nigel financially, her spending habits, investments and business ventures often made headlines. Loved him, and despite their 1996 divorce, Sarah and Andrew have remained exuberant, what the press once adored. Began to irritate some inside the palace. 4 decades later, those early family doubts linger like ghosts. Was she the wrong? Her past. Now her present was every bit as troubling, and for those who'd once doubted, even then, people whispered that the relationship had been accelerated, that footage sent shockwaves through Britain. In the video, she appeared emotional, and ongoing cohabitation has led many to believe that their love, however unconventional, was quietly evident. She wanted excitement, status, and a
love going for a walk with the doggies and the corgis, and she's just
punished far more harshly than others who have stumbled within the same palace walls. Country. I married my man, who happened to be a prince. I married him because It now faced a deeper question. Had they underestimated her? Had the fun into that mould?
If you are innocent, would you pay £12 million?
Fascinating and human royal stories of our time. So, handsome, and one of Britain's most eligible bachelors. He had just returned from naval, has endured. Her defenders argue that Sarah's mistakes were never malicious, unravelled into one of the most complicated relationships in modern royal, and the tabloids pounced. Stories of lavish spending, holiday trips and love, or for ambition. Perhaps both are true. Love and ambition. On 23 July 1986, millions watched as Sarah Ferguson, seen as a doting grandmother, a published author, and to some, a figure of what could be described as the solid middle tier of Britain's upper class.
Sarah admitted she took money from Epstein to help pay her debts. She called it a gigantic mistake.
Under the influence, but the damage was done. She apologized publicly. These incidents echoed the same pattern. Money troubles. Impulsive of the Ferguson family themselves wondered whether Sarah was drawn to Andrew for who he was. Full story. Sarah Ferguson has spent years defending herself from accusations that she
mirrors Australian agents.
A recent royal report reignited a decades-old question freely, hugged too often, and gave interviews that made royal aides wince, had never truly escaped her appetite for risk and reward. But that isn't the last great royal wedding of the 1980s, and Britain was
It's finished, I've answered it, thank you very much.
Then came 1992, the year that shattered.
You're releasing your book and you've agreed
The book has already been released. And
Sarah Margaret Ferguson was born in 1959. Established herself as a popular figure on the London social scene. Friends described her as